everybody, and welcome back to the Arkham Files Season 3. I'm Dr. Henderson.
I'm Dr. Boose.
And today, we have the case file of Floyd Lawton, AKA Deadshot, releasing on the week of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is convenient.
Very excited. It is very convenient.
Yeah. Unplanned.
I guess we've gone over every villain in that besides, well, actually, I guess we only went through half because I forget Boomerang and King Shark are not Batman villains.
Yeah.
So only two of them.
True. But, I mean, what do you think of Deadshot?
I like him. I was first introduced to him through Batman Arkham City.
I was first introduced to him, surprisingly, in a Lego set.
A Lego set. What Lego set was
it came with Harley Quinn. And
was this like old Lego Batman, or was this like
no? This was like part of a relatively not. I don't know when it came out, but like I was introduced. It was before the first Suicide Squad movie, which also really got me to know more about Deadshot.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I forget Will Smith plays him. I forget.
Yep. What were you first introduced to him in what?
Batman Arkham City.
Gotcha.
Through those detective side missions.
Gotcha. Okay, let's go ahead and get on into the case file of Deadshot.
Let's go.
Excuse me. All right. Deadshot, aka Floyd Lawton, is a character appearing in American comic books published by DC Comics. Created by David Verne Reed and Lou Schwartz, based on a concept from Batman co-creator Bob Kane. The character made his first appearance at Batman number 59 in June of 1950. The introduction story features Deadshot using standard firearms while wearing a tuxedo, top hat, and simple domino mask. Peak design, by the way. The character was not seen again until 29 years later when Steve Englehart, along with artists Marshall Rogers and Terry Austin, retooled him in Detective Comics Volume 1, number 474, 1979. Now presenting him with customized wrist-mounted guns and a unique mask featuring a multi-use lens over his right eye. Since then, he's been a recurring character in Batman comics. Since 1986, Deadshot has also been frequently portrayed in comic books featuring the Suicide Squad.
Speaking of his design, I mean, what do you think? What do you think about his newest design in the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League?
I like it.
I like it too.
Okay. I hope he gets his classic outfit with the tuxedo top hat because there's just something funny about like he literally looks like a highway like robber or whatever. Like what were those people called back then?
Oh,
highwaymen. That's what it was.
Yeah, highwaymen. Yeah,
it kind of reminds me.
It's kind of a pretty because I guess they tried to go for like maybe like a spy type look with him. I guess that's what they were trying to do. Yeah. You know, he's like, oh, he could, you know, good. He has a good shot, and that's pretty much it.
This is it here, and I'm sending you the a picture of it just so you can get your full opinion. That's his original.
Yeah. That is a look. It's not awful, but honestly, I'd like that if that was. Hopefully, that's actually an outfit in the game.
That's what I'm hoping. But
I actually might kind of equip. I might equip that.
Yeah. But yeah, that was that. Deadshot is an expert in firearms and an excellent sniper who regularly boasts of never missing a shot. He's often considered one of the deadliest assassins in the DC universe. Lawton is eventually brought to justice by the superhero Batman, who becomes Lawton's most recurring enemy over the years, though he occasionally comes into conflict with other heroes. While typically portrayed as a supervillain, he also is sometimes depicted as an anti-hero as a member of the Suicide Squad, where he fights more dangerous villains and threats, his need to protect those he regards as family, and his occasional efforts to hold himself accountable to a personal code of ethics. The character has been substantially adapted from the comics into various forms of media, including television series, feature films, and video games. Deadshot was portrayed by Bradley Stryker in the final season of Smallville, by Michael Rowe in the live-action Arrowverse franchise, and Will Smith in the DCEU film Suicide Squad. IGN ranked Deadshot as the 43rd greatest comic book villain of all time in 2009.
Yeah, so how was he? Because I've never seen Smallville, but you have. Was he?
He was a cowboy in Smallville.
So he. Was it?
He was like, I think he had cowboy like outfit on, but he also was like really cool. Some of the scenes with him like trying to kill people was pretty cool. Let me look up exactly what he looked like. So I know, yeah, he's got like a long trench coat, a cowboy hat, and yeah, it's not like it's very much inspired off his original design.
Mm-hmm. Here, yeah,
Yeah.
here, yeah, that send me that real quick if you can get it real quick.
Okay, I'll try to find one that has like a good like quality, but this is the best one I could get. It's Deadshot.
It's kind of weird. I don't know if I like that, but you know,
The scenes were cool. Like they
well,
filmed it really well and stuff. But
well,
the Arrowverse one is the best one in my opinion. He was really good.
I don't know. I mean, you think Superman and how Superman got his heat vision is cool when
I didn't
when
say that.
well, you told me or something, did you not?
No. I
Oh,
just
okay.
explained to you because you didn't understand it.
Pretty gross.
Yeah. Well, he was at the
If
time of his life where all his powers were starting to manifest.
yeah, and also his body is getting to have some changes too, I guess.
Yep. Well, he's a teenager.
It's so gross. Like I hate it. Well, I guess that's kind of how Spider-Man can, like no, that's not what happened in the movie. Yeah, so that's how then how Toby got his webs. But I'm like, no, that didn't happen. So what? No, that's so gross.
Well, stop being a superhero isn't all sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, but I'd hate like, hey, so how do you figure out your heat vision? That was kind of
It was a record hot day outside, and
yeah,
that's
but
what
yeah,
triggered it.
what, a record hot
It
teacher.
wa- I
Like,
think no, they said it was like 150 degrees outside, and it like
yeah, but that's not why it
tr
happened. Man.
yeah, but it was a combination of a bunch of things, and that was the teacher stuff was part of it. And that was also the
That's the
heat.
big one. Why do you
Yeah,
keep defending this show?
because it's good, and you've never watched it.
The only thing that's good about it,
It's not meant to be modern good superhero stuff. This is like an early 2000s TV show, but it's
yeah,
good.
MTV Spider-Man has more class than that.
You've never seen Smallville, so you can't say that.
I just know. Well, I see my guy his heat vision. I just know right away.
But you've also never seen Superman save an airplane out of the sky.
I have Superman Returns.
Yeah, it also happens in the finale.
Yo, what? Where I see Superman for like a solid second.
You see Superman actually for at least 5 minutes in that episode with the suit.
He wears a suit.
Yes,
Okay.
and it's the Christopher Reeve suit.
Okay, well, that's good.
Anyway,
Is that all
that's
like
not.
canon? By the way, I always meant to
It's
ask.
supposed to be like a loose prequel, I think.
Okay, because
But
I was
okay,
gonna say because I always thought it was weird. I was all like, it's kind of odd how because Superman
why are we
Returns.
talking about Smallville? We got to talk about
I
Death.
think we're talking about Superman in the middle of an Arkham episode.
You know what? Scratch everything we're talking about. We're going back to the file. Jeez.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good lord. We're never gonna get through this. Here we go. Okay. Fictional character biography. In his debut story, Floyd Lawton is shown to be an independently wealthy man with a trusted staff member and valet named Stevens. Gotham's wealthier citizens, such as businessman Bruce Wayne, refer to Lawton as someone, quote, new to Gotham City. Following his recruitment to Task Force X, the Suicide Squad, Lawton's past is further explained by therapist Dr. Marnie Hers. As a child, Floyd Lawton and his older brother, Edward Eddie Robert Lawton, are raised in a wealthy family that has great influence over their community. Their father, George Lawton, owns interests in much of the local real estate and holds sway over the local police, while their mother, Genevieve Pitt Lawton, a prize-winning sharpshooter, controls the Pitt banking businesses. The Lawton parents are seen as a power couple in their society circles, but in private they grow to hate each other. By various accounts, Floyd is repeatedly judged by his parents for not matching the achievements of his brother in academics and sports, leading the younger Lawton child to act out in various ways. Okay. When Eddie is in his mid-teens and Floyd is around 12 years old, Genevieve tells her sons about her husband's infidelities and the many abuses she suffers under him, then asks the boys to kill George. Oh,
Oh,
Floyd attempts to warn George, but Eddie locks his younger brother in the nearby boathouse and locks the doors of the family home so no one can enter or intrude on the killing. Floyd escapes, grabs a hunting rifle, and climbs a nearby tree to get a better view through all the windows of the family home. Seeing Eddie enter the house library to shoot their father, Floyd fires his rifle, hoping to disarm his brother. But the tree branch Floyd is on suddenly gives away and throws off his aim, causing him to shoot Eddie dead just as the elder brother shoots at their father. Eddie's aim is also thrown off, leading his bullet to strike and shatter. George Lawton's spine rather than killing him.
Huh.
So
So he straight like what, like just straight paralyzed him?
killed his brother, and upon shooting his brother, who was getting ready to shoot their dad, his brother's aim was he like I guess he because he got shot, he like jerked to the side or whatever, and ended up shooting his dad, paralyzing him instead of killing him.
Huh.
That would have that's a that's something.
Can't relate.
Yeah. Um, I can. No,
Can't
no.
wait for that
Okay.
episode.
Refusing to have his family name tarnished by the scandal that would occur, George Lawton arranges with the police to cover up details of the crime. The official report concludes that an unknown sniper opened fire twice on George Lawton and his son Eddie, and that his son Eddie heroically died while diving into the path of the second bullet. As punishment for her efforts, George Lawton refuses to divorce Genevieve and instead forces her to live on a limited allowance and in isolation in another smaller house that the Lawtons own on the outskirts of town. After high school, Floyd Lawton leaves his family to travel. Despite his later claims that he felt nothing on seeing his brother die, he often shows anger when recalling the incident, and Eddie's death inspires him to swear that in the future when he fires a gun, he will, quote, never miss.
Ah, okay. Makes
Uh,
sense. I like
yeah,
that. I kind of like that story.
yeah. Um, on par with Spider-Man's origin story.
Yeah, somewhat. That's
um,
why I like it.
See, this is the thing they did differently in the Suicide Squad game, and that he hates Green Lantern. Which he might have fought Green Lantern. I'm interested to see if they talk about that in here, but
Yeah, if that's like ever happened, because I've never heard of Deadshot fighting Green Lantern.
no, that seems like a
That
pretty
that that no, I've never heard
that
of.
seems like a pretty uneven fight.
Hmm.
Um, the next several years of Floyd Lawton's life before his arrival in Gotham City are not fully explained in the comics, though it is eventually revealed that as a young man he did meet David Kane, a highly skilled assassin who years earlier had been one of the teachers of Batman during the hero's many years of preparation for crime fighting. As a member of the League of Assassins, who sometimes take private contracts but are also available as operatives of the terrorist Ra's al Ghul, David Kane is an expert in marksmanship, hand-to-hand combat techniques, martial arts, and military tactics, and he trains Floyd Lawton in these areas. Floyd later remarks that Kane was his, quote, best teacher, while the canon comic books do not give much further detail regarding if Floyd had other training under other teachers. Media such as the Arkham Asylum video games propose he served for a time in the U.S. Army where he received sniper training.
Hmm.
Lawton becomes a hired assassin in Europe and South America, staying largely unknown to authorities but gaining a reputation among certain gangs and cartels as a killer who never misses. At some point, Floyd Lawton married a woman named Susan, and they had a child together, a boy named Edward, after Floyd's deceased brother. Floyd later divorces Susan and removes himself from her and Edward's life. Later claims he did this because Susan saw him not as who he is, but who she thought he could be, and that his presence endangered the lives of happiness of her and Edward. Okay, that was the first little section there. Gotham City. Eventually, Floyd takes residence in Gotham City and hires an assistant and trusted valet named Steven. He decides to become an influential figure and crime lord, similar to how his parents operated in his hometown. While attending a charity ball, Floyd witnesses Gotham City's hero Batman apprehend a group of thieves. Seeing Batman as a rival, Floyd decides to reduce the hero's influence on Gotham before fully embarking on a criminal career. Donning a tuxedo, top hat, gun belt, and domino mask, Lawton operates publicly in Gotham City as a vigilante called Deadshot and uses his marksmanship abilities to disarm criminals without killing them. Batman becomes suspicious of Deadshot and eventually learns his true motives and identity. Later, Deadshot reveals himself and attempts to kill Batman, but is shocked when each of his shots miss. Batman taunts that Deadshot has no nerve to properly face and kill an opponent. In truth, Batman had gotten to Deadshot's weapons ahead of time and altered their sights to throw off his aim, hoping to shake the villain psychologically. Classic Batman move.
Yeah, classic Batman.
It's prep time. Um, Publicly exposed, Deadshot is taken to a trial and imprisoned. After some time, he becomes resentful that he's considered a forgotten enemy of Batman's, while others, such as the Penguin and Riddler, a W. Riddler reference, gain greater renown. At his first opportunity, he escapes imprisonment and decides to prove himself in combat against Batman with new wrist-mounted guns, customized body armor, and a mask that helps his already impressive aim. Despite his efforts, Deadshot is once again defeated by Gotham's hero. After escaping authorities again, Deadshot once again becomes an assassin for hire rather than focusing on revenge against the Dark Knight. And that was his time in Gotham City.
That was pretty. Huh. So that's all for him. Like pretty much just he just wanted to be a contract killer than anything else at the end.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Um, but then government operative Amanda Waller gets permission to revive Task Force X, a special operations group that in the past was also known as the Suicide Squad. Under Waller's leadership, Task Force X is no longer a group of government and military operatives, but is now primarily made up of incarcerated supervillains who are considered expendable if lost on dangerous missions and are promised reduced prison time in exchange for their services. I think the idea of the Suicide Squad is really interesting.
Oh yeah. Uh,
Government's like, well, we have this stuff we got to do, but we don't want to get involved, so we'll send you in there, and if you do it, we'll reduce your sentence. But if you die, so be it. No one won't like you anyway.
yeah, no one really liked you in the first place. Oh yeah, and also if you try to go against my plans, I'll just
We'll
kill you
blow you
myself.
up. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we'll blow your head off.
yeah.
It's like okay. Was
Uh,
it some type of Suicide Squad?
oh my god.
He says that. Hey, that's perfect. You forget Deadshot says that. Doesn't he say that in the movie?
I think so. Yeah. I like the line better in the Suicide Squad. What was it? It
Well,
was So this is the world famous Suicide Squad,
no, that
and that was
sounds
all. That's the only time they ever said it.
good.
Okay. After being defeated by the Flash, Floyd Lawton is imprisoned again and transferred to Belle Reve, a prison in Louisiana. It also serves as the secret hub for the new Suicide Squad. There, Deadshot is recruited by Amanda Waller. Slater said Deadshot is selected not only due to his skills, but also because mandated therapy sessions have revealed he sometimes is prone to a, quote, death wish, internally hoping a proper enemy will end his life in a dramatic battle. It's also suggested this is why he initially decorates his second costume with a target on his chest. That's interesting. So he's like
So
Craven.
yeah, I was it's like a Craven type thing. It's Spider-Man 2. I got you.
During his time with the team, Deadshot frequently clashes with teammate Captain Boomerang and field leader Rick Flag, for whom Floyd develops a grudging respect. Um, Soon after Deadshot joins the Suicide Squad, Batman learns of the team's existence and confronts them, threatening to expose that the US government is employing supervillains for covert and possibly illegal missions. Amanda Waller counters that public exposure of Task Force X will force her to reveal Batman's true identity. Before Batman leaves, Deadshot threatens him, but the Dark Knight remarks that Lawton always, quote, pulls his shots when they are in battle with each other. Therapist Dr. Marnie Hers later agrees with this conclusion, remarking that Deadshot sometimes sabotages his own efforts, as if inviting his opponents to take advantage of the situation and end his life. Um, Deadshot's son Edward, now about 8 years old, is kidnapped by a gang of criminals hoping to manipulate Floyd. One of the gang members, Wes Anselm, is a pedophile with documented incidents of assault against children. When Deadshot hunts down the gang, Wes grabs young Eddie and knocks him out, then flees with the boy in a car. Later, Deadshot finds Wes in his apartment and Eddie lying dead. Wes implies the boy struggled against an assault, which resulted in Wes becoming enraged and killing him. Deadshot takes revenge by delivering several non-lethal gunshots to Wes before finally killing him. Dang.
Wow.
Having learned that Eddie's kidnapping was part of a complicated plot by Genevieve Lawton to inspire Floyd to finally kill his father. Wow. Okay. um, his own mother.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay. Deadshot returns to his hometown. Confronting his mother in her home, Deadshot first intends to kill her, but then reconsiders when his therapist Marnie Hers points out that Genevieve also has her own desire for death and hopes to be killed as she does not wish to harm herself. Rather than possibly give her the outcome she desires, Deadshot chooses not to kill his mother and instead shoots her with a precision shot to the spine, causing her to be a paraplegic. Deadshot remarks that this is fitting since her efforts to kill George Lawton only resulted in his own paralysis, and now they are a quote matched set. That shit's cool.
All right, that sounds cool. I like it.
Later on, a U.S. senator threatens to expose the Suicide Squad to the world. Task Force X field leader Rick Flag decides to assassinate the senator, and Deadshot is ordered to stop Flag. On the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, Deadshot publicly kills the senator himself, justifying that this is in compliance with his literal orders. Quote, stop Flag from killing the senator. Exact words. DC police then gun down Deadshot where he stands, but he survives his wounds, and after a hospital stay and physical therapy, he returns to active duty with the Suicide Squad. Lawton's uniform is stolen by a man who then uses the Deadshot name and equipment to commit crimes and murders. Ooh, wait, after Lawton kills the imposter while the man is still dressed in the Deadshot uniform and mask. Later, Floyd is haunted by the experience of having shot down his own, quote, image, and for some time does not fix the fatal bullet hole that now occupies his uniform. So that's not an original idea in the Arkham games.
It's not.
What?
I thought it was.
Oh,
I
this
was about to
happened with
mention.
books.
I was gonna say I thought it was kind of. If there was one thing I don't like with Deadshot was with what Rocksteady did of kind of like, oh, it was just there's a guy being him. I'm like, oh, I feel like it's just like a kind of a bull excuse. I feel like they just kind of forgot he was in there or something. But that really happened.
Huh.
Huh.
Interesting. That's why I said ooh, because I was like, what? Learning
Yeah.
things. Okay. Eventually, the Suicide Squad operations are temporarily halted, and Deadshot returns to his own life and agenda. At one point, he becomes a host body for the demon lord Neuron and nearly kills a kindergarten class.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect.
To Lawton's relief, he's stopped and then relieved of his demonic possession by the Justice League. Later on, Deadshot accepts a contract to kill the Pope, but is thwarted by Wonder Woman. Okay, that was a random paragraph. Anyway. After both of his parents pass away, Deadshot inherits some of their documents and belongings. He finds a letter from Michelle Torres, a woman who claims Floyd Lawton is the father of her daughter, Zoe Torres. Excuse me. Deadshot visits Michelle Torres in the Triangle, a neighborhood of Star City. Realizing Zoe is indeed his daughter, he recognizes Michelle as a sex worker he spent time with years before. Haunted by the memory of abandoning his son Eddie and later finding him dead, Floyd decides to take up temporary residence in the Triangle and look after Zoe and Michelle. He learns more about Zoe as a person, such as that she's proud of her Cuban and Italian heritage, and he comes to understand the different criminal gangs and slumlords that threaten the Triangle. Announcing his presence, Deadshot begins systematically fighting the corruption in the Triangle, hoping to make it a safer place for Zoe and Michelle. This results in the local population advocating to protect Deadshot from vigilantes, such as local hero Green Arrow, and also leads to a new romance between Michelle and Floyd. So I know Zoe. I knew he had a daughter named Zoe.
Yeah.
And she's well, I can't say that'd be spoilers for Suicide Squad. Um, but I mean, if you're a fan of that character, then maybe stick around to season 3. Okay. What?
Gonna make us lose our goodwill with WB.
I didn't say anything about who or what's showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. Just story stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Um. The supervillains with a grudge against Deadshot begin appearing in the Triangle. Lawton decides to put distance between himself and Michelle and Zoe. After setting up a school scholarship for Zoe, Deadshot kills several supervillains targeting him and then fakes his own death in an explosion. He decides to act more covertly for the time being. His efforts in the Triangle also inspire Green Arrow to take more interest in the area, ensuring that Zoe and Michelle's neighborhood remains protected. Lawton decides to do right by his daughter and embarks on a lethal war on the local gangs that plague the area. The series ends with Deadshot faking his death, having realized a normal life is not for him, but also having mostly cleared up the area and convinced Green Arrow to patrol it more regularly. Excuse me. That's his time with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Okay. Secret Six. This is a fun group of characters. It's kind of like the Suicide Squad, but not really. During the 2005 to 2006 Infinite Crisis storyline, Deadshot briefly operates with a short-lived incarnation of the Secret Six, joining other villains who are recruited by the mysterious Mockingbird, a temporary alias used by Lex Luthor. For accepting membership, Deadshot is offered the reward of ruling North America. If he declines, his punishment will be the destruction of the Triangle in Star City where Michelle and Zoe live. At the conclusion of the main objective, Deadshot is rewarded with significant money that he sends to Michelle. Despite no longer being employed by Lex, the Secret Six remain active for a time and Deadshot stays on as a member. He develops a grudging friendship with teammate Catman, another former enemy of Batman's. When this version of the Secret Six disband, Deadshot is said to have returned to Amanda Waller's new Suicide Squad. While part of the squad, Deadshot is sent against the villains Pied Piper and Trickster, and then seemingly kills Trickster. These events occur during the year-long series Countdown. Like many events depicted in that series, Trickster's death is later contradicted by other stories. Amanda Waller decides to exile all criminals with superhuman abilities to another planet without trial. The Suicide Squad works on rounding up as many villains as possible, sending them to another planet via the dimensional space bridge known as Boom Tube, a product of New Gods technology. After helping the effort, Deadshot is betrayed and exiled to the planet as well, and as he's still a supervillain as far as Amanda Waller and Rick Flag are concerned. Eventually, the exiled villains escape back to Earth. That was Volume 1. Volume 2, Secret Six. Deadshot, along with Scandal Savage. Scandal Savage? I thought it was Vandal Savage.
Yeah,
But like, oh, this is a different one. This is a female. Okay. Scandal Savage, Bane, Ragdoll, and Catman. Ragdoll is a creepy villain. He was in The Flash, the
yeah.
show, and he was terrifying.
Well, like, what's his whole deal?
He can like contort his body. He's like a contortionist, and
Oh,
he's like, and he can like I don't think he has bones,
oh,
and
so
he's so like in the show he's like at one point there was a box on the table or like on the floor or something, and he opens the lid of it from the inside and crawls out, and you hear all these like cracking sounds and stuff,
nice.
and like it's like really creepy. And he had like the weirdest mask on. I need to send you that at some point, a clip of that, because it's crazy. Um, okay, they reunite the Secret Six. The team is hired to retrieve Tarantula from Alcatraz Island and find a card which she stole from Junior, a mysterious villain who supposedly runs the entire West Coast mob. Junior is practically the entire villain community at her beck and call, as many her fear her methods and formidability. The Six later learn that the card in question was made by the demon lord Neuron and serves a special function: get out of hell free. Soon, the Six are attacked by a small army of supervillains, all wanting to recover the card and collect the reward of 20 million for each of the Six. It is later revealed that Junior is in fact Ragdoll's sister, as well as the daughter of the first Ragdoll. The Six escape and head for Gotham City, only to be attacked by Junior and the supervillains. It's revealed that they were initially hired by the Mad Hatter, simply so they would be killed. Tarantula sacrifices herself and Junior, seemingly destroying the card as well in the process. It is later revealed that Scandal is now in possession of the card. While on a mission to Gotham City to kill several of Batman's allies, the Six are ambushed by a group of superheroes who have come to assist Batman. Ooh, Deadshot is rendered unconscious by Green Lantern, and the rest of the Six are
Oh,
similarly defeated soon after. There you go.
interesting. So there's a Green Lantern connection. Is it John Stewart or Hal?
It doesn't. Oh, actually, it says John Stewart when I hover over this.
Ah,
So there you go. New 52. In the New 52, the 2011 reboot of the DC universe, a new timeline is presented which features a Deadshot with significantly different past. Rather than a child of wealth, he's a child born to poverty who then joins the military before becoming an assassin for hire. He has a daughter named Suchin Lawton, who has Japanese heritage. His child from the previous timeline, Edward and Zoe, are not mentioned. Before joining the Suicide Squad, Lawton is described as a Batman villain and a rival of Mad Dog, a bounty hunter. He's bitter enemies with Captain Boomerang. Okay. In the New 52 story, he no longer sports his trademark mustache, except at one point to grow one to cover a scar. A mercenary protege of Lawton named Will Evans tried to usurp his role as Deadshot, but was killed by Lawton. So this is the second time that someone's tried to become Deadshot.
everyone wants to be him so bad. It's weird.
Deadshot is arrested for a failed assassination of a U.S. senator by Batman and is sentenced to life in prison. Later, he is recruited to be part of the Suicide Squad in exchange for early release. Deadshot is made team leader due to his skill under pressure. He develops a casual relationship with new teammate Harley Quinn. Deadshot later grows disillusioned with the group after a planned visit with his daughter, his first since his arrest, is withheld from him. Deadshot ultimately sacrifices his life to kill the evil cult member Regulus. Deadshot is later resurrected, possibly through genetic material taken from Resurrection Man during an earlier mission. During the 2013 to 14 Forever Evil storyline, the Justice League teams are seemingly killed. To ensure Earth is protected, Amanda Waller pays Deadshot to reunite the Suicide Squad. Deadshot's first visit is to Harley Quinn. That's the end of the New 52. Following the events of DC Rebirth in 2016, Deadshot's pre-New 52 history is restored. When a character mentions having heard that Deadshot grew up in poverty, Lawton now remarks that this was a lie he told. In the story, The War of Jokes and Riddles, it is retroactively revealed that soon after his first defeat at Batman's hands, Deadshot sided with the Joker in a gang war against the Riddler and other criminals. At one point during this gang war, Deadshot spends 5 days battling the assassin Deathstroke, who sides with the Riddler. After the conflict causes multiple deaths, Batman arrives and defeats both criminals, leaving Deadshot hospitalized with severe head trauma. Deadshot returns to service with the Suicide Squad, but after several more missions, he is seemingly killed by Black Mask. And that is the end of the case file.
So what from what I understand, everyone wants to be Deadshot so bad
Mm-hmm.
because everyone's trying to be him for some reason.
Yep.
He's in,
Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, I was getting some water. Yeah. So I mean, did this change your opinion on Deadshot a little bit?
I mean, not really. I mean, I'd say he's more interesting than I thought he would now, but I mean, I still feel the same, which was never any hate or thought he was okay. I mean, I liked him. I thought he was a genuinely good villain. But I am definitely more interested in his lore and
Yeah.
everything of like how it's weird. I just find it very odd people like try to impersonate him a bunch.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know. It is weird. Um, yeah, I believe that is the end of the case file. Let me look up top 10 worst things. See if this even pops up. Deadshot has done. Um, Never mind. There's not a thing on here talking about that.
all right.
I mean, they killed a man pretending to be Deadshot. It's okay. Anyway, that is the end of the case file, and thus the end of the episode. So,
All right.
thank you all so much for joining us for this one. Um, it was good. Next week, uh, will be an episode about Solomon Grundy. So I'm interested to learn more about him. Other than all I know is he's just a giant zombie.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll never forget the episode. I was because I watched all of Gotham when it came out, like each episode on like I think it was Monday nights at 8.
Yeah.
I sit in the living room with my grandma and watch. Me and her both watching it. And the series, I think it was a season finale of one of the seasons, is when they revealed that one of the characters from throughout the whole show, his real name is Cyrus Gold, and that I looked that up afterwards, and it turned out to be Solomon Grundy, and I freaked out.
Oh my granny's in this.
And then he showed up as Solomon Grundy after. But yeah, Solomon Grundy's interesting, so I'm interested to learn more about him.
Oh yeah.
Uh, but with that, we're gonna get out of here. Um, if you haven't seen the other episodes of the season, go check those out. But until next time, I've been Dr. Henderson,
I'm Dr. Boose.
and we will see you in the next one, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.
Yeah.